Okay, so then we learned pretty much installation, then writing the test cases. Everybody's comfortable writing test cases in two ways. One is code gen, and I'm never gonna say that don't use code gen. Code gen is like almost like cheating, but it was created for a reason. You should be able to speed things up by using code gen to write test cases. Then you have generating, then you have test cases that you can actually create it yourself. And I'll tell you when you may need to do that. Um, generating, okay, so debugging, everybody is pretty much familiar with headed and UI. These are a few ways we can actually debug our test. That means we can actually see it ourselves and being able to, see where the problem is and find out what we need to make changes to in order to make sure that our test case is running fine. The next item within this, actually CI Junkin GitHub Actions. So when you write your test, ultimately at some point, you have maybe 500 or 600 test cases and you want to set it and forget it, meaning you want to run it schedule basis. You're not going to be able to run it from your computer schedule basis. You can actually take the help from GitHub. So, and you can actually run your tests. So in GitHub, we're able to push our code and create requests to, with assignments, for example, let's say I wrote 2 test cases, I can create a request and somebody can review those requests before accepting. Here's a sample of GitHub action. So here you can specify what actions to take when you push code, right? If you're pushing code new, then you can actually trigger it to say, whenever I'm pushing new code, I'm gonna run tests. I want to run all of my tests, right? So this is how the YML file looks like. So it's basically nothing but the way that we run it ourselves also. So you're just going to execute the commands that you execute locally, but you're just writing them here in this way. This is the format that you have to say. So first you're installing dependencies, then you're saying, okay, install all the browsers, and then you're saying that you wanna, you wanna also install all Playwright. Sorry, this is the actual command to install the browsers. This is just the action name. And then you have run Playwright tests. In order to run Playwright tests, this is the same exact command that you run locally. So you are just basically adding it here. So if you have this, Playwright is nice enough to give you the script already. So if you join a company and they said, can you run the test on CI? You're going to be able to do that yourself. You just got to copy the whole thing. Maybe you will do something different here. The whole thing is going to be exactly the same thing, but maybe you want to create a schedule, not running on pull request. Maybe you want to run it in a specific time. So you'll be replacing this part to say, I want to run it in a specific time, this specific test, right? So there are some modifications that you'll do. Other than that, this whole section right here is going to be something that you'll use. So at the end, it will actually create the report and put the report into a specific location, and then it'll be shared through GitHub. You can actually share that report through GitHub also. So we're going to show you how to do that. But first, you're going to need a GitHub account. You need to learn how to push and pull code. And also, you're going to be able to deal with GitHub without using commands through VS Code. So any IDE out there will give you the ability to push or pull code without having to use the commands. But I'll also show you guys how the commands looks like. What else? So here you can see that if I go to API side, you can see that we have a different sets of APIs here for us to use. One is frame locator. And if anybody here familiar with iframes, so what the developers do sometimes, they put one page on top of another page. So So it looks like the same exact page, but then if we look at the structure, so for example, if I go into this application right here for, this is basically just appointment scheduling application. So this could be an iframe, even though this part, like the whole application looks the same, but if I go back, you know, and this might be an iframe, for example, right? So let's see if it's an iframe or not. Let me see if they even have iframe. This could be an iframe. So let me do a quick search here. Okay, so there is. Okay, so there is one iframe they have, which is this, right? So what if you had to click on search by map, right? If you click on this, let's say with your Playwright, you're not going to be able to do it without locating the iframe first, okay? Why do we have iframes in application, guys? What do you think? Let's do some interaction here. What do you think? It's pretty obvious here, right? Why do we think we have iframe in an application? What is iframe and why do we have it?
Maybe to isolate the content.
Kind of, yes. But also companies, like for example, this map came from Google, right? Google is not going to allow any company, like for example, this company to, change any shape or how the map looks like, right? Like this specific part. This came as is from Google, right? So this came in an iframe. All the developer did is just insert it into their application, and that's it. They're not allowed to touch it. They can use it, but they're not allowed to touch it. Okay. So that's one of the reasons. The other thing is isolating content could be another reason where they don't want, it may be like, let's say, it could be like one of the company have their own application, which is completely different than the application they're currently working in, but they still want the content from that application. The easiest thing would be for them to do is to just make it iframe and render, basically show it on the new application. That's probably the lazy way to do it, especially if they own both application. But if, for example, Google, this is intentional, they don't want to provide access to the map data. Rather, they want them to use the whole thing as a whole, right? Instead of like giving them data, they're just giving them product. Okay. So just like that, a lot of these companies, when they use services from outside world, like Google, maybe Facebook, maybe, you can think about it like zip code validation, whatever is the case, it will most likely come in iframe. So if I just go into, let's say, iframe demo site, like just finding something that has iframe, maybe that's going to be better. So this is an iframe within an iframe, boom. Okay, so this is probably a good one. So if you want to type here, you see iframe demo, this is a single iframe, and this is a iframe within an iframe, which is nested iframe. So we're going to learn how to deal with it. Now, one of the good things the Playwright does is that Playwright detects iframe and gives you the code. So you don't have to go through the painful process. But if you had to do it yourself, then you would be following this frame locator. Okay, so you would be locating the frame and right here, after locating the frame, you will locate the element, and only then you will be able to do any interaction within that frame. Okay. So if you were to do the same thing, if you have one iframe here and one iframe here, you have two iframes. The only way that you will be able to interact with the last one, which is here, you want to type something here, is if you first locate this iframe, second would be locating this iframe, and then you would be locating the element within the iframe. Okay. So let's look at the example. I'm going to probably take this as an example, but let's see if I can find a better website. This doesn't even have any. This is fine, probably. But anyways, so how do you locate an iframe? How do you know it's an iframe? So let's say you automated, somehow it's not working. You did code gen, whatever is the case, and it's not working. It's not even clicking. It's just saying that the element is not found, right? That's when you would have to consider that there could be some other possibilities where the element is very difficult and it's not in the page. This is your page right here, and within that page there is containers, and it's called iframe page container, for example, right? So this one has its class name, see, nested iframe, and then if you open it, you can see that your browser does not support iframe, whatever is the case. But let me see if I can find another better example. Frame and window. Trying to find a better website. Okay, this could be another. Frame 2, frame 1, frame 4. Okay, so this could be another one. This is looks like a form. So as you can see, name on this. So let me just see if it's an iframe or not. As you can see right here, it's an iframe. It has its own HTML, right? So a web page have its own. You'll see like a web page normally start with HTML tag right here, but then an iframe also comes in its own HTML structure, right? And so that's why you're not able to just go ahead and directly access this element and do any sort of action without actually locating through the iframe. So maybe this is something that we can use for this testing, where we want to type information here, 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 and lastly the frame number 3, and that's it. That would be it for this example. So let me just pull out my VS Code. Any question before we move in with this topic, iframe, because we're gonna spend maybe like 20 minutes on that, and then we're gonna jump right into GitHub. Everybody here knows what is an iframe. Okay.
Yes.
So okay, Rahul, what is an iframe in your view?
It's like an HTML element that is, used to another HTML document, right?
So it's like another, like it's like a, think about document within a document, right?
Yep.
Like let's say it's like there is a container, but there is another container inside
Like
of
inside
it,
of
right?
it, right? Yeah.
So if you try to throw, like, basically if you want to fill out the water using water, you have to think which container you want to drop into, right? So the whole thing is a bigger container. Within the bigger container, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 different container. And then within those container, there are elements that you can deal with. So anytime at work, if you feel like, oh, it's not working, I'm typing it, it's supposed to work, I did nothing wrong, everything is fine, even ChatGPT or code gen failed, that means there is a possibility that you're dealing with an iframe, okay? And you need to handle it in that manner. So let's go ahead and write this test right here. So I'm gonna basically create a new spec file, and I'm gonna say maybe learn iframe. You know what? I'm gonna just create it under this domain, so that way So I'm going to say vision iframe learn dot back dot js. Okay, so we just created a JS file, and so we're going to start with our few things. So I'm going to first write a flat file just like this one, and then once our test is working, we're going to clean up and use the page object models. Where is it? Okay, right there. So I'm going to paste it right here. I'm just going to simply change the URL just to make sure it's good. Okay, so I have my URL, and I can put a weight of something. So page.title. How do you? Okay, who can tell me how to find title here? Just by looking at it. Where can I find page title here? So that way I can put it. So that way I can put the assertion here. Where can I find the page title, guys?
Jewel, is it the one in code? Just under in frame 2,
Where?
under input? Yeah, right there. Frame 2.
No, that's not the page title. This is you're targeting an element. This is like a small thing in the whole page. I'm talking about the entire page. Give me the page title of the entire app, not just this. And it should say title, right? It shouldn't be like a mystery. How do you know which one is title? All right, I'll show you one time. This is the bigger page, right? If I go in here, this is the whole page, right? This is the whole page. Each page will have a tag called head, basically. If you expand that head, you're gonna find the title. Okay, so you see frame web automation test. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this, and I will go ahead and paste it here. And so now, as long as the page have this title, it will work. Okay, so this test should work. So I'm gonna go ahead and run it, and after running it, we're gonna then deal with those, frames. Okay, let's wait. Takes a little bit of time. Okay, perfect. And then so has title, whatever is the case, I'll probably update the test name. So if I click on it and I click on running, go to Univision, it went there and then done. Okay. So let's say I want to type on frame 1 initially. If I do it myself, I'm going to show you guys both ways, right? So we know what we're doing, dealing with here, right? So if I want to deal with the first frame, let me just expand this a little bit. This is your first frame on the top. So if I click on this and I want to type something here, right? And this one has a name. So normally how do we do it, right? It's the form. Normally we do it like this, right? So await page, and then what, guys? Come on. How would you type it there in the text build?
Dot locator.
Locator.
Inspect the
And
page,
then
find the locator.
And then you would find the locator. 1 second. I'll use name as a locator. And then go back to my taste test. Okay, so this is my locator. I can put escape in front of it. This is called escape in programming. That the reason why you need the escape is because I have a double quote outside and double quote inside. But if I don't want to have the escape, then I can put single quote outside, and that will remove the need for escaping. Okay. Okay. So now that I have this page locator and I located the element, the next thing is fill, right? and then I can type in whatever I want. So I can say iframe number 1, right? For example, right? So save it. So if I want to run it, let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I saved it. I'm gonna run it. Let's see. See, why is it spinning though, right? Why is it not telling you like I can't find it or the rest of it? Who can tell me this? Why is it spinning? And you can
Because
see the seconds, 15 seconds, 16 seconds, and it's spinning. Why is it spinning?
because it's a
Or why
frame
is it
within a
waiting?
is a frame within a frame because this cannot find it.
Nope, nope, that's not the reason. Okay, okay, let's say it cannot find it. Then it took 30 seconds, right? 30 seconds later, it says, okay, I give up, which is timeout. Okay, so this 30 second is set in our configuration, which we can change, right? We can do 60 seconds. If you believe that the element is there, it's just taking a little bit of time, then you can increase it, okay? But by default, it's 30 seconds. So now that we are here and we want to type this, and it says test timeout, and this is something that you will see all the time. But that doesn't mean you're gonna panic and start looking for a tech person to help you, right? At work, your coworker, whoever, right? Or at home. But the most importantly, when you see this, you should be like, oh, okay. Let me see if there's any other way I can deal with this, right?
So you have to select frame locator.
Right. But how do you know if it's a frame? How do you know this is a frame related issue? You didn't find it. How do you know it's a frame related issue? How can you tell?
Because there's multiple frame.
How do you know? Like, okay, I'm gonna remove this. Tell me how do you know by looking at this as a frame? Just by looking at this, if you can tell me this is frame or not. Don't look at the label. Somebody label those because this is for the reason of testing, right? So we can. How can you tell this is a frame?
You
If
put
I
in a
type
frame.
it here.
Is there
Nobody
any way
can.
you could inspect?
Okay, so I'm inspecting. This is the element that you're having difficulty with. So tell me. All right. Again, there is always a first time, so I'm going to show you. So you're dealing with this element. You're going to have to go through the tree, right? HTML tree here, which is DOM. So if I go up, this one was inside of this one, okay, expanded. This one was inside of this one, expanded. And I'm going to keep going until I see, oh, wait a minute, there's an HTML here. It shouldn't be because the one HTML is for the whole page. Let me go up a little bit. Whoa, there's a document. And lastly, oh, I see a frame. Okay. I see a frame tag. Okay. And that's how I know that this is a iframe related. As you can see, if I'm holding onto it, you can see the highlight of the frame up there. You guys can see it, right? Okay. So now let's do a frame locating. I'm gonna show you guys the how to do it. So as you can see, it's creating a variable. It's using the frame locator and providing the ID of the frame, but we don't have an ID. If I go back in here, what do we have? We have SRC. We have SRC, which is we never learn how to deal with SRC. So, but we can still take the whole thing and convert it into a CSS locator. Can we? Right? Nobody wants to confirm? Can we or can we not? Can we create a locator out of this?
As far as I know that you can create your own locators.
Okay, so that's how you create your own locator. Let's see. I'm gonna test the locator here before I even go ahead and work with it. And as you can see, it's 1 of 1, right? So I'm gonna take this locator and I'm gonna use the frame locator. So now this is not working. I'm gonna put that away for the moment. I'm gonna say something like this. Await frame 1, for example, is equal to, what am I doing? Okay. Const frame 1, await page dot frame locator, right? This is gonna locate it and done, right? So now I can actually say to wait for this, I can say frame 1. Okay, I can actually say frame 1 dot wait for. Okay, so right off the bat, use it. Okay, let me see. I did it. Okay. Create a frame that enters about. Okay, that's not the thing. Why is it? Property does not exist on the frame locator. Oh, okay. So you cannot just wait for frame. Sorry. So sometimes it will give you things that you cannot use in such situation. So you cannot just wait for frame 1, but you can actually do other things like frame 1 dot fill. Okay. The frame 1 dot fill doesn't have, right? We cannot just fill it because it's nothing to fill about, right? Where can we fill it in the frame 1? Where can we fill it? So this is frame 1. The whole
Can you
thing, the whole
show-
yellow
sorry.
thing.
Can you show
Yeah.
one more time? Would you get the frame locator? Oh, okay.
It's right here. If I click on this right here, and then I'm just gonna keep going up because I can see the tree. If I close this and I go up and I keep closing it, and I can see that this belongs to this guy right here. This is the tree it started from to begin with. And then I can see another frame down here. And I see another frame down here. So if I expand it, I can see everything inside of that frame. You see? Everything that has, so this is frame 2, which I can now pretty much navigate through and see what I need. So now that I know this is frame 1, I already located the frame 1. Now, the next thing I can do, I can locate my input box, right? I'll create another, I'll go ahead and create another variables, right? So I can say const frame 1 input box, right? Is equal to frame 1 dot. Now, how can I locate my element? Here, using frame 1. I can still use the locator class, right? So I can say locator. I can go ahead and take the name because that's the one, right? I will go ahead and actually take the whole thing out of this. Okay, frame 1 locator this done. Okay. And there is no need for the variable unless I use this, so maybe later I'll use it somewhere else, but that's fine. I wait. Okay. So any questions before we run it? Let's run it and see. I don't need the. Let's see if it does anything at all. Go ahead and run it real fast. It passed. Let's see. Bill. It was probably super fast, but as you can see right there on the screen, can you guys see it? Let me make it bigger. It typed the information. If you look at it, iframe number 1. Okay. So that's how you deal with frames. You have, if you're dealing with more than one frame in the same page. So now, how do you think I'll deal with the frame 2? It's the same way. Okay. I can also dynamically, like if I know that all the frame has a number, the only thing is different is the number. I can actually dynamically change the number and go and type something, right? So I can put it into a loop, which you guys are not familiar with yet, but I will have to give you guys a lesson. So I can say let I is equal to maybe 1, and then I can also say how many frames there is. I can manually count them, not a lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Actually, 5 of them, right? So the only thing the frame has the difference is the number right here. So I can just programmatically switch this number and type information on all the frames at once, which is going to be too much for you guys to handle. So let's not do it right now. I just want to move on with the remaining things, which is going to be cleaning up this test and then pushing it into GitHub. Okay. So one thing you'll realize that there is this specific option right here that you have. And if you don't have this and you see something other than this and you still download, you'll have to download. And then what you can do is that you can actually go ahead and push your code so everybody else at work can see your code. So we'll do that today. And I'll also want to show you, if you go to GitHub, and I'm going to probably go to one of my shareable. Okay, I'm just going to go to one of my random repository. Now, this is where you actually saw some of the page object handling information. But at work, you're gonna, the first day, you're gonna be given this, like a link, right? And you will be asked to get the source code from here. And the easiest way for you to get the source code from here is if you go to the click on code, and you can copy this, okay? And then you'd be able to tell VS Code to bring all the code from here to here, so you can actually work, okay? And then when you're ready to push, you can actually push. So that's the other thing that we can do. But before we even jump into GitHub, how many people know what is GitHub and how many people doesn't know what is GitHub? Here, let's open up the discussion and then we can learn a little bit about GitHub before even jumping into pushing code, pulling code. Why is it necessary to have GitHub in the first place?
GitHub is basically a repository where you store your code. One of the functionality of GitHub is basically if multiple people are working on the same code, they can basically pull it to their own local system and make the edit and push it to the GitHub where other can see their code and also, you know, share the GitHub code on GitHub.
Okay, so let's see what a popular question in Google and what is the answer. And then, no, that's definitely correct. So let's see the book definition. A little bit more solid definition here is GitHub is a code hosting platform. So that means it's a place where you put your code for many reasons, because one day you go to, you know, a bad neighborhood, your computer gets stolen, it's your work computer, whatever is the case, or your home gets, you know, broken into and your computer is gone. That doesn't mean the last 2 years of work that you did for the company is gone, right? It shouldn't be the case, right? So that's why we have a platform where it will host our code there, and it will also manage the versions, and also it will help us to collaboration with the other people. So the first thing is code hosting. That means you're going to be able to daily basis push your code. Whenever I say push your code, that means that If I write 2 lines of code today, end of the day, I would be able to put those 2 lines to the platform. So that way I know my codes are always pushed and up to date. Then we're talking about the versions where maybe you want to go back in time. Maybe you want to see like in January 20, January 1st, what was the difference in code than today? So let's say for whatever reason, the code today is not working. Nobody is able to figure things out. You can actually compare versions. Every time you push code, pull code, it creates a version, and you can actually go back in time and say, okay, 5 days ago, what was the version of the code, and I want to see the difference between mine and that. So it'll give you the difference, right? So it's easy for you to find out what you did wrong in the new version of the code. Let's say one day you go into work and now somehow nothing works. You can also blame. Blame is a command in GitHub that will show you line by line who actually updated and when. So you wrote a piece of code, and after pulling the latest version of the code is no longer works. Then you can say, okay, let me see who did that. Now, all of a sudden you go back and you do a blame, and you're able to see that somebody updated at work last night without permissions, meaning without any sort of approvals. And now everything is stopped working. You can actually go and ask that person to do not do that again, right? So we don't push code without any sort of approval. So that way, we always have a version of code that is working, right? We want to have a version that is a master version. That means that version is always bug-free. Even tests, basically, any issues in our test, there shouldn't be any issues in our test, and only time we push our code if it's working. So if you have, let's say, 500 test cases, and you're building 2 test cases per day, and you're pushing. Obviously, every time you're pushing 2 test case, you're not only that you're running your 2 tests, but you're also running the entire set of tests, knowing that you didn't break anything, and you're pushing your code, right, to the master. And this is probably the better way. Otherwise, you write 1 test and it breaks 20 tests, and then it'll be all over the place, right? Think about it. Now let's talk about the collaboration. Collaboration is just like you can blame, and you can actually see exactly which date and when somebody updated and who was that somebody. You can actually reach out. But also in GitHub, you're able to create a request to say, I would like this code to be added to the latest version of our master copy, right? And somebody will review that code, and then they will approve. So it's going to be each other's, right? So let's say you are the one who wrote the code, then your coworker will review. And let's say somebody else wrote the code, you can review and say, hey, okay, you wrote the good test, I'm going to approve. And then that code goes into the master copy. So the collaboration is there. The other important aspect of this specific tool is that, let's say you took the copy of master and you started working. Now your version is different now at this moment. That doesn't mean that you're going to overwrite other people's work. Think about you and your 5 other friends working on Microsoft Word. Same exact document. All 5 of you guys at the end of the week will have different version because everybody's working, right? And editing. Microsoft Word doesn't know how to, merge all the changes and keep the good ones. So if you work the same way in Google Docs, where you can see people actively making changes, daily basis, you can actually know what are the changes that they're making. So you don't have to do double the work, right? You don't have to duplicate their work. So it's going to be similar, right? It's like a shared repository. It's a repository where you can actually collaborate, and you can see what other people's also pushing. And the code reusability, you basically be able to use your coworker's code when needed. So like, for example, your coworker wrote some code into the common, right? For example, and you want to use, right? You can just now use because he's pushing the code. All you have to do is pull his changes. And that's how you would be able to push and pull code. Now, if I was to, I'm going to actually push this code to GitHub today, and let me just go ahead and delete. The reason why you see different color, like the screen and all that, because I already initiated the git command, and that's why it already counted those changes that it'll be pushed. The only thing you're not going to be able to push is node module. There is no need for you to do that, because whenever you do npm install, it will automatically install that in your repository. So the first thing first that I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and first delete the git thing. So if I want to delete it, I can say ls-la. That will give me all the hidden files also. So notice there is a git file right here that I'm going to be deleting. And the reason you don't have to do that, but the reason I need to do this because I already have git. This repository is already known as a git repository. So I'll go ahead and delete that. 1 second. Just gotta quickly look into something. Okay, so now the first thing first, I want to delete this file, right? I can do rm-r ref, and this is basically do not run this command unless you know what you're doing. I'm just saying no matter what, I want to delete this file and done, right? If I do the command again, you can see there is no more .git left, okay? So now I'm going to go to my GitHub account and I will create a repository for this. So I'm going to say I want to create a new repository, and I want to maybe say Playwright, right? Automation. Right. So once I do that, it created a new directory under my username, and it's giving me a bunch of instructions what to do next. So we can do that. So for example, it says to create a new repository command this, right? We already have the repository. I don't need to create a README. We already have a README. We will initiate first, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say git init, okay? That's the first thing that I will be doing. Okay. That's the first thing. And now it became everything this color, right? As you can see, master copy. And if I go to the commits, there is no commits yet. So in the master copy, I can say, I want to commit everything, right? So I can say commit message right here. This is the second command that I'll do, first commit. That means I'm saying all the file that I wrote, I want to keep those files and push those files, right? So I'm going to say git commit, first commit, right? So you go ahead and enter. And
I have a question. So we will not do the git add readme.md because we already have it, right? If you go to the git page,
that command right here is just to create a new file.
Okay.
Okay, readme file basically. Sorry, creating a new file right here and then edit. So now we're gonna do the adding now. After the commit, you can see we were only able to commit a handful of items. If I go to here, which is supposed to help me, but okay. Let's see. All right, it's right here, changes. Okay. So if I want to do all the, like you see how I did the commit, if I want to do it through VS Code without writing the commands, like if you don't want to follow the commands, you can actually follow the UI right here, the source control, which is GitHub. So I can say that something like this, I want to keep package.json, click on plus. I want to keep git.ignore, so I can ignore some files that I don't like. I want to keep package.json. So I'm basically committing, like saying git add this command. I'm doing git this command when I'm clicking on those. So they are basically being staged, okay? If I say git status right here, you can see those 3 files were added for me, okay? I can do the same thing, git add tests, right? And it will, if I do git status, and it added the test files, all the test files are added. As you can see, if I look at this UI also, all of the test files were added for me automatically. Okay, because I added the folder. So if I do it here, I don't need to type commands, right? All the changes below here, I can actually like plus, and I can keep adding whatever I need. So I'm just gonna keep adding. I don't like the DS store readme. I will go ahead and add that. Playwright config.
Can I do all of them
add
at once or no?
Yeah, you can do it, but there are a few things that you don't want to add, like DS store. This one I don't know why we even have it. Honestly, this is part of the VS Code thing, so I don't want to push this too. Other than that, all of that were added. Now I can give it a nice commit message. I can say, adding all of my test files, right? For example, this is a message that you are saying, you know, that whatever you're doing, the action. So if I say commit, obviously right now you cannot just commit and push automatically. If you do commit and push, then it will ask you the next thing, where do you want to push, right? And that's the thing, right? So if I go ahead and say commit and push, it will say it doesn't have, you see, you have repository remote config is not, you know, added. So I'm gonna go ahead and click add remote. And I'm gonna now have to provide the remote repository, which is this guy, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and Control C, and oh, that thing is gone. Okay, I'm gonna try to push again. Okay, let's see. Push, and I'm gonna say add. Now I gotta provide that URL. Where did I get it? I got it from GitHub. And now it says provide the remote name, enter, blah, blah. Okay, so the remote name will be master. For example, this is the master copy for me. And boom, I created a master copy of this. And now I should be able to see it here. Let's see. Okay, didn't push it yet. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do push. Okay, all of these were added. So notice playwright config was not added. So I'm gonna have to add those. For some reason it wasn't added. Git add playwright config JS git add read.md. Oh, test example, okay. Missing the S. Okay, git status. Okay, so these are the two things that I want to add. I'll go ahead and say git commit -m pushing, adding the config files, right? Git push ... So these automatically branch without tracking upstream, C, blah, blah, okay? So now it's saying that you don't even have any setup, you know, like a master branch or anything like that. So I can say something like this. Okay, so it'll set upstream master, and I actually can add the git remote, which I could have, that I think is easier to do it this way, honestly. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do it this way. Okay, it's added. Master unable to access the URL, return the down. And it's because probably I'm not logged in, right, as myself. So I'm gonna have to log in. Let me just do git push real quick. Let's see, push blah blah. Okay. So I'm not logged in here. And one of the reasons is that I have at least 3 GitHub account, and the other GitHub account that I'm logged in. Don't want to be logging out, honestly, but let me just do it anyways. Let me actually do it this way. So for example, you have to, I'm going to show you how to log in, because the other one I'll probably handle later. So now if you want to go ahead and log into your GitHub, this is your username, but for me is that. And then you can also create yourself an access code instead of using password, okay? And the other ways to add, like if I go to git config, username and email, whatever username and password, I'll go into this, and this is Git provided document. So the first thing first, I have to set up my username. So I'm going to do the new username in this case. So my new username would be, so this is true for all of you guys because you guys didn't log in yet through your VS Code, okay? So I'm gonna use this command to log in. So if nothing happened, that means this worked. Then second, once I use the username, I'm gonna go ahead and add the email, which is the same thing, but it's gonna say email. Okay, email is not needed. Okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and use the password maybe. Actually, email is definitely needed. So if you, for the first time you do it, you have to also add your email associated with the GitHub account. And then the next one is gonna be password. So password is not here, right? How am I gonna, log in to this? I'm gonna take it to the other screen and enter my password. So you guys, the recording doesn't have it. But most importantly, if you want to create a password, access code, you go to your GitHub account. You'll then go to the setting. Okay, once you go to the setting, you're gonna go find yourself a developer setting. And then you're gonna say personal access token. Okay, so I'm gonna use the classic one, not the newer version, so classic token. And you see I have so many, for different reasons. So I'm gonna create a token, for example, generate a new token and classic. And now it's gonna be asking for my password. Okay, so now that I enter my password.
What is the token?
Token, we create a token because we don't want to put the password, because you see, if I want to log into my GitHub through the VS Code and I try to log in using, let's say, password, like a regular password, it will not take it. There is another easy way to do it also. If you just click here, and you're gonna be able to log in directly from this panel, right? It should help you with the UI, but again, for me, especially because I was logged in using another account, I have to do it this way. So it's a good way to learn at least the commands initially. So let me just go ahead and password. So instead of password, we're going to create access token. This is something is going to be true for workplace too, because if you don't create the access token, it will not work. Okay. So I'm going to say new token. You can name whatever you want. 30 days. I can say only 7 days. So, this will expire. You know what? 30 days, right? 30 days. And I'm going to say, okay, read and write, all of that, workflow, create everything, give full access basically. Admin. Okay, so I'm giving it all the access that there is. Okay, so I'm gonna click on generate. It will give me the token on the screen. So I'm gonna move it to the other screen so that way, we can still have it on the YouTube channel. So if I click on it, it gave me a. Okay, token 1, 2. Okay, it didn't like the name of the token. Like okay, so now it gave me a token. It's like it's a random created very hard password. Let's say, think about it that way. So now I need to enter the token here. I'm gonna just take it to the other screen and do it, and then come back to the other one. This is authenticated. Ready. Let me just paste that here.
Sorry to bother you, Joe. Can you pick up my
Yeah.
call ASAP? ASAP? Thank you.
Yep.
You call her, the one you guys got, the credit card you guys got together.
All right, guys. Let me just take 1 second. I just need to do something real quick. You guys can take 2 minutes break. I'll be back exactly at 8:10. All right, guys, I'm back. So let me just move this out of the way. All right, is everybody here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Here.
All right. So basically, it's still giving me a permission issue. So let me go ahead and, because I was logged in with another denied to this. Okay. For some reason. So let me go ahead and do one thing, right? So log out of existing Git account via maybe terminal, same thing, right? So the first thing I need to do, because I already had a login to the GitHub account, and that is causing a problem from my side. You guys shouldn't see this, but at least I'm gonna be showing you guys how to deal with that kind of problems. The first thing would be removing all the Git config from your computer. Let me just move these out of the way. Where's the other screen? Okay. Okay, let me just pull out the documents real quick. Okay, so if I say git okay, so remove all credentials first of all, right? So if I want to remove, I want to log out, I'm going to completely start from fresh, just like you guys. So even on this video, you can follow up from here rather than where you started, but I will say something like this: git credentials, dngil dash exit. To remove everything basically. I'm gonna say also, I can also probably do this one, git credentials, rej uct reject, and that should be, oh, made a mistake with the spell. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's see if I do something. I can actually find out where the git credential is. So I can say, maybe nano, find me my okay dot ssh dot config. It should probably open up. Let me open up my terminal real quick. And if there is anything at all, so ssh dash config. And I just can see it's trying to use. Okay, so there's not a whole lot in here, so that's good. It's a good sign. So I'm gonna terminate that. So I'm gonna start my logging in again. So git, first of all, this is the command for setting your username. So this is my username, I will enter. And then I need to enter my email, which is going to be very much the same. The only thing changes is email. So I will also double check which email I'm using. Maybe that's one of the reason why I had that problem. So GitHub, and then I'll go into my account, your profile, edit. Let's see, where can I see the email? Setting. Okay, good. And then account. So I got the username there. Email. Oh, there you go. All right, so this is the email, and that's one of the reasons why it didn't work what I did before. It's like company email and stuff, which I should probably no longer work for that company. So now we have this right here as a primary. So now, because before I put a wrong email, that's why it didn't work for me. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put this. Okay, enter. And it took it, right? So we got the email and everything. I'll go ahead and put the password just to make sure. Password, and I'm gonna take it to the other side and enter the same token that we created, remember? You guys will remember this, right? The token part. Okay. Control C, go back to that. Enter, okay, done, okay. So now that is done, I'm gonna clear everything so that way I don't have any history here. So I'll bring it back. So I'm pretty much sure that I'm logged in, right? At this moment. So now if I want to push, if I say git push, it'll tell me like, hey, wait a minute, create yourself something before you push, right? So you see the same command. It says, go ahead and create yourself a master first, okay? Which is a master branch, because currently we don't have any branch. It's a brand new repository. So I'm gonna go ahead and create it. Oh. Why is it keep going into this thing? This is my other username, but let me see. Real quick. Differential erase, maybe that's better. Then I'll have to start all over again. It didn't work, okay. If the URL username, okay, it's this. Update to the new username, okay. So let me just go ahead and do that. Maybe that's gonna be fine. You are allowed to have multiple username under the same system, but I just never use it like that. So, okay, remote URL, okay, so that's good. Now if I say git push, and it tells me this. Okay, there we go. Now it's asking for that password, right? So this is where I will be entering the password, right? Now I did make a mistake. I had to update this one right here. It should be my username. New username, which is gonna be. Yeah, so I have to redo this real quick. Go back again. So I'm gonna go ahead and that URL should be the new username. So this is the same one that we got it from our GitHub. So where is my repository? Let me go back. All right, let's go back to the repository, Playwright automation. And this is the one, okay? This is the one, copy this. The git remote add origin, right? So all right, again, you're not supposed to see all these issues, right? Because I have multiple accounts and I'm seeing this issue. Fatal. Somehow this username doesn't go away. I'm not trying to push this into this. Okay. Okay. Let me just see if I can log out. What do I? All right, guys, you guys give me a minute. I just have to remove this username so it doesn't give me a problem. Okay. Okay, that's that. Enter core. Okay, that's not even a command. Okay, for Linux. Okay, let's see now. Still the same problem. Okay. So what I can probably do is that probably use the UI. Let me see if I can use the UI back up in sync setting. Sign in through the UI, as you can see, GitHub, and it will. This is another easy way to do it, but I didn't want to go through the easy way first. Okay, dismiss. I don't need the Copilot. So now that I am signed in, as you can see, I'm actually signed in now. I should be able to now go ahead and push. So I'm going to go ahead and do the push directly from the VS Code. If I do a push, it says, oh, wait a minute. Do you want, which one do you want? You want origin or you want master? So you get to choose. How do you want to name your branch? You can name it origin or master. Okay. Guys, I know I confused you probably by 1000% here. Starting on what you're gonna do from your VS Code, okay? First, obviously, create yourself one of these. You gotta create you can do the same exact name on the GitHub. And then the easiest thing you can do, account and just sign in. There's a sign in option and it'll take you to your GitHub and log in. The commands, I will still show you the commands. Now that I'm logged in, I can actually use the commands as I need. Like, for example, git push, I can do it from here. So I can do git status and it will tell me which files already ready to go. But login, all the problems that I've seen, you shouldn't see it. right? Unless you're already logged into your GitHub account and you want to log into, something else. So now that we have, right, now I can go ahead and push it. So we know we already committed all of our changes, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do push, and then you choose what you like. I'll choose master, so that way at least, so I'm going to go ahead and create a fork, allow, and it will now go ahead and sign in to GitHub. Oh, this is going into working GitHub. Okay, 1 second, it's going into a wrong browser for this. 1 second, guys. Yeah, so if you just make sure that you're in the right browser, because for me, it went into my other browser, and it's waiting right now to log in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all those browsers out of here first. Okay, dismissed for now. Where is my Google browser? Okay, this. Okay, okay. Now it's good. So I'm just gonna wait for this to expire so I can go ahead and do it again. You have finished authorizing it down. Okay. Would you like to try a different way? Not right now. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the push one more time. This time it should be fine. It shouldn't go into another browser. I'm gonna say master, create the fork, allow, and now it's coming in here. Okay, so it should be authenticate. Contain empty repository cannot be forked. Okay, 1 second. Why do we have to fork it though? Okay, let's see. Maybe we gotta choose the origin. Push. We don't have to fork anything. Let's see. Did we push it? I'm just gonna go back in here, refresh. Okay. Control C.
Jewel, click on Playwright automation on the browser. You should go back.
Remote origin already exists. Okay, that's good. 1
Uh,
second. Git bench main. Go to the main, which is done. We create a main branch. And now I'm gonna push the main branch. Let's see. Same username. Why is it? Okay. Let me just garbage this, because sometime when you make changes and you use the same terminal, until you dismiss the terminal, it will continue to complain about the same thing. Okay, so you can see error failed to push this. Okay, that's fine. Source ref master does not match any. Okay, so we don't have master, that's not a problem. We can say main, because we have main now, right? So main to main. Okay, main does not appear to be a Git repository. Jeez, okay, let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and do ls/la rm-rf.git to remove it. Okay, that's good. Git init. Good. Everything added. I'll go ahead and commit all of them at the same time. Staged. I'm gonna say pushing all my changes at the same time. Git commit and push. It'll ask me for remote. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the remote. We already have. So add remote from GitHub. If I say, you see, Now it tells me all of my stuff. So I'm gonna say Playwright automation. That's the one that I created for this, right? Provide a remote name. I'm gonna say master. Okay, now I can publish the branch. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and click on publish branch. You don't have permission to push this on a GitHub. Would you like to create a fork and push it? Oh, why? That's my username. That's crazy. Okay. Where did I create this? Oh, yeah, okay. Getting so much hard time for this. Okay, no, I don't want to do fork. Okay. Hmm. So let's see for the last time before we go in this route. Yeah, that's why sometimes it's better to use a completely different computer for teaching. But let's see. It says remote this, denied to this, but I want, okay, let's see if I can Google this out a little bit. Second guess, should be easy to do this now. Okay, that should be fine. So these commands that I just got, these should actually go ahead and this should be master actually. So I'm pointing out the user for this specific repository. Okay, done. So let's see, git push, and now it says this, and we should be able to still push it now that we have done all of that work. Okay, it's taking a little bit of time, so it's a good thing.
I have a question.
Sure.
On your left panel, you see source control, commit, branch of different, and I don't see the same thing. Is it supposed to be? How do I see that? I only see the source control.
Yeah, so these like commit and all that stuff, it's basically part of the plugin. So maybe you don't have the plugin.
Okay.
Yeah. Publish master to GitHub. So if I do this, because I'm supposed to be able to at least go ahead and push this branch. And this is going nuts. Let me close this and reopen because we've made a lot of changes in terms of the users. And maybe that's what's holding it back. Okay. All right. So now that we have, let's see, so many like things, right? So no access to Git Copilot file, blah, blah, logged in as this. Okay, that's fine. I don't care. I'll do this later. Extension, no access to Git Copilot. Okay, that's fine. I don't care also. I'll go back in here. Notice it says publish. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this. And so it says git this, press enter to confirm escape. Okay. So now it's asking for password, which is a good thing. It's a good sign. So that means it was able to change the user to this, right? So So now instead of typing the password, I'm gonna go back and get my access code, right? The token basically. So if I go to setting, you're gonna go to developer, and you'll then create yourself a personal access token. Generate a new. The reason why I have to generate a new one again, because the last one I don't remember and I cannot see it. You will never be able to see it again after generating, so you'll have to copy and paste it somewhere. Okay, so new token again, whatever, something, 30 days, fine. Okay, so I'm gonna give some access right here. Hopefully you guys will be able to do this, because without the problems that I'm facing, my problem is unique for my computer only, but I have too many GitHub accounts. And then, as you can see, something like this. Okay, you know what? I'll delete this token after. This is how the token looks like. I click on copy. I'm gonna go back to my VS Code. I'll enter, and now it should push already. Let's see if it did it now. So if I go to GitHub, I'll find my Playwright automation, and boom, it did push the code. As you can see, Playwright automation. You see the page object and all that stuff is here now. If I click on test, you guys can probably clone this now, be able to have the same exact copy that I have, because I pushed it out here. So as you can see, this is the test that we did today. All right, obviously no cleanup was done because GitHub, right? Took so much time. All right, so now that we are here, we're able to push it. The login part is probably the first time ever when you join the company, and that's it. After that, you're never gonna face that issue, so I'm not gonna go back, but for you, it should be the same easy way to log in. Just click on this icon and log in, and you should be able to follow what the VS Code is asking. So now I'm going to show you guys a proper process on pushing code. Okay. So there is pulling and pushing, right? So when do we pull and when do we push? Okay, that's very important for you to know. And so for example, you are working and they gave you an assignment. This is the copy that you're working from. So the first thing first, you want to make sure that if somebody else pushed, you want to grab those changes also. So you can come in here and you can say you want to pull changes from this location, because this is where everybody is pushing, like master, right? Master branch. Okay. So the first thing, I will make sure that my code are up to date with everybody else. I will go ahead and pull. So I'm going to say right here, I'm going to click and I'm going to, not there, sorry, click here, and I'm going to do a pull. Okay. Once I do a pull, it will confirm whether my copy is up to date or not. So as you can see, 9 minutes ago, master was changed and everything is up to date, right? So now I will make some changes, and I'll probably make some changes in a way that it feels like you're doing a task, right? So for example, they're asking you to fix this test. That was your task, right? And the name of the test is busy frame learn, right? And they give you a ticket number, for example. So let's create a ticket here. Maybe that's better, right? So I'll go to the issues and I'm going to create a new issue. And I'm going to say fix UI busy vision test to follow, let's say, page object pattern, right? And then they will probably give you like the location of the test. So for example, this, I'm going to copy the relative path and I'll post it here. And I'm going to say this test is not meeting coding of VA and VARD. So maybe this is like your, this is like one of your tickets that you have to now basically resolve, right? So assign it to myself at this moment. And now I'm going to be working on it. That there is a ticket number. The ticket number is 1 at this moment. So whatever is the ticket number, you'll take that. So now first thing first, I made sure that my branch is up to date, right? It is exactly like master. There is no difference, right? There is no changes that I made, or there is no changes that somebody else made, which I'm missing. So now that I made sure that, I'm going to first click on master right here, and I'm going to create a new branch, okay? And I'm going to name it in a way that it matches the name of the task, right? So I'm going to say 1, and then I can say 1 would be like, for example, a ticket number, right? So ticket number is 1. So let's, since it's 1, I'm going to put some zeros in front of it, 001, which is the very first task. And I'm going to say fix dash UI vision test, right? So now as you can see, the format is you putting the ticket number and you putting the, you know, in a very short name, what you are doing, right? In terms of the branch name. So I'm going to click on enter. And now I can come back here. I can see the branch name was created. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and fix this test a little bit. So this one types on the frame 1. Maybe I want to do the same thing. I'll create it on, I'll basically do the same thing for frame 2. Copied it, and then I'm going to say frame 2, and I'll change this to 2, and this is going to be 2. So this should work. But let's say we already ran it, everything is working. Frame 2, obviously you got to change this too. So we just added these tests. Obviously we didn't make any changes to page object just yet. Now that we made the change, let's suppose, imagine we already did the cleanup. Okay, page object is done. Everything is looking good. Now I can click on this thing and it says, whoa, you made some changes. Okay, I'm gonna move these things down. And it says the changes that you made is right here. So if I click on it, it tells me what changes that I made. Okay, fine. I made these changes. I can say, okay, this is expected. This is what I want. I will go ahead and click on plus. It goes into staging at this moment, right? That means you want this change. This is the intentional change. The next thing I will do, I'll write a message, what changes I did. I added frame 2 steps, right? Now I can say commit and push, okay? Commit and push, and it pushed it, okay? So now I'm gonna go back to GitHub and see what really happened. If I go to this branch, and you can see, whoa, 001 UI vision test recently pushed. I can click on compare and create a request, right? Merge request. That means somebody can actually review and tell me if it's good, and then they can merge it. So I can click on this. And now I can put more description here if they like, right? I can say I added this because that, whatever the case. I can create a pull request. And now your pull request is ready to be added to the master. Right now, your branch is different. So you would like to add your branch to the master, only the changes that you made, nothing else, okay? So now if I go into this file that was changed, you can see this is the only thing that was changed. If I was the reviewer, let's say I'm the manager, I'm the lead, or whatever the case, I'll come in here, I'll comment it and like, oh, I don't see you did page object here, right? And I can say add a comment and boom. So now you just got a feedback right away from the person who reviewed it. So then you're gonna go back to your request. You're gonna say, oh, shit, I forgot. Sorry. Then you're gonna write message like this. Sorry, I forgot. I will update my code and push again. Thanks for reviewing it, right? For example, right? So you didn't comment it. Now you have to go back to your code and make appropriate changes to follow the page object. So let's go ahead and create the page object stuff. And so new file, you guys still remember? Who can tell me this? So this is for vision something. What is the name of the thing? Yeah, vision, UI vision, okay. Vision page, for example, .js, that's the action. You guys not gonna help me out in terms of creating this? So we got the locator, we got the thing right here. Notice it becomes green is because everything is being tracked as of right now. GitHub actually keep tracks of what's being added new. So if I go in here, you can see 2 files was added. So I can actually go ahead and push it if I like, right? So obviously I cannot push it because I got a review that says that I need to follow the page object pattern. So I go back in here. Obviously for the locators, I can follow the same exact, you know, format. So I can say const vision page is equal to this. I got to do export, module export. And then it's going to be similar. Notice that it's no longer give me suggestion because I removed my Copilot. Okay, because I don't want to do that just yet because everybody is just learning. So if you keep on kind of like writing for me, it's going to be hard for you guys to learn anything. So now, then if I go in here, same thing, I'll be following the same exact. So I'm going to just go ahead to save some time, take up to this much. Go back in here. I need a right here, so I can say a sync. And now I can basically, the first thing first, if I go to my test right here, I know that I have to wait for the title. So I go ahead and copy this. The first thing is page.goto, right frame. So I'll copy this. And if I go to the action, right, I can say async, go to something, right? Okay, visit, maybe visit is a good word. Visit Vision website, Vision page. Okay, so I'll go ahead and paste it. I will wait. Obviously, don't forget the word this. And that's the first one that you did. Then let's go back to our test. I'm going to go back and just copy everything from the test so I can just create the methods and then we'll come back here in a minute. Action, go ahead and paste it here. So this was done already. Then this is basically for the page title. I'm going to say verify page title. All right. Paste it here. Obviously, this dot page, correct? Done. Then the next one would be verify. Okay. Add text to frame 1. All right, nothing new. So I'm just going fast. Okay. It's nothing new. Okay, up until here, you guys following me, right? You guys kind of understand because this was the homework. Change the format a little bit. Okay. So up until here, you guys get it, correct? The only thing that I need to now move is the locators to comply with whatever
Yes.
the guy is asking for. So the first thing is frame 1 and frame 2 locator I have to move. I don't see any other locator, honestly, except for the my text one. So, okay, so 1, 2, and so this is one locator. I'm gonna go ahead and copy and I'm gonna move it here. I will say frame 1 is equal to single quote. That's not equal to, right? I mean, you guys not even correcting me. Okay, and then this is going to be frame 2. Frame 2. And I just have to say this. And if I go back in here, this is going to be same for both. Okay, if I highlight, it just kind of verifies that these are same. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and this is what text field, right? So I'm just going to say text field, single quote, done. Okay, so all three locators are added here. Now, how can I go ahead and call it to my, the action class, guys? And obviously I gotta rename this vision page maybe, okay. And then I have to do module export. Okay. Exports, okay, that's good. That's good, okay. Guys, question and nobody's answering. Now that I have this, all this created, I want to add, obviously, like if I want to move the locators first, I have to locators, and then locators. If I do flash, it will probably give me region page, done. And add vehicle, we don't need this here because we only need this guy. Okay, the first one is the frame one. And the second one is the frame two. And then these two is going to be same. Dot text field. Control C. Okay, so we made the update and everything. Now I go back to my actual task. Now all of these I'm gonna have to replace. So the first thing I can probably do is I don't need this stuff actually. Const. Who can tell me how do I call the action file here? You guys remember? You did it for like 20 tests. Nobody can tell me. So how are you able to do your homework? Even if I show you this.
So basically const, you'll name the action file here.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with maybe uppercase. Vision page equal
to the require. Open parentheses.
Okay.
And single
right?
quotation. Yep. Done.
This, and then what is it? Which one is this? I don't see the file, so that means it could be this. No, that's not it. So dot this, maybe dot this. Not those. Okay, now that went above. Let's see which one is this.
Is it page object model? Page objects.
Page object, right? The right folder. Okay, so I select that. The next one is action.
Actions.
Okay, the next one is going to be vision page, done. So in order for me to use anything from vision page, now I can say, create a new variable. I'm going to say vision objects, whatever. I'm going to give it a new name this time. So you kind of get an idea. New vision page, and then we're going to say page inside that, and it's done. So now,
do you have to enter the let variable?
Do
You have to enter the
No,
let.
let is if this constantly change, then you would do let. Otherwise, you don't. It that
Got
has a specific. So visit. Okay, what was the name that I created? Okay, let me go back real quick. So the first one is visit page, right? So go back in here. Done. So that's like the first one. Verify the title is the next one. Let me go back in here. So this was done. This is this. Okay. I'm just gonna restart that. Okay. Not this. Okay, good. So now all I have to do is just call those, really nothing crazy. Okay, vision object dot this page title, we're verifying to make sure we're in the right one. The next one is typing it on the frame one. Vision object. I'll move to this one, vision object this, and going back to 2. Done, right? So that was pretty quick, right? All this cleanup. Okay, so that's basically the test. Learning iframe via UI vision application. Right, so we're just basically learning that. So I'm just gonna run just to make sure everything is fine before we can start push. But at least this fulfills the ticket, right? So the whatever ticket they assign it to you, does that complete? That's the question, right? Where's my command? Okay, I typed way too many commands. Okay, there we go. Guys, go back in here, type it. All right, look, something. What's going on here? Oh, nobody caught me making a mistake. See. Now, if I go back and run it. All right, so let's see. Text field, timed out on the text field. In the 500 seconds, okay. Let's see what happened there. You didn't even go to the page, right? Because of whatever reason. So now let's see. Page.go to this UI timed out. Error, maybe the frame was detached or something, right? Okay, waiting until load. Okay, so let's just see what just happened, right? So we got the VG something. Okay, let's see. We got the page. This is the page. If I now go to my action and this doc page is right here, what
line number 18 is supposed to be the contain page per single quotation instead of that. 18
right here. No, that's the regular expression. This will still work.
Okay.
Yeah. We got this page constructor, this page, which is fine. We got that already at the top. Okay. This is the constructor. We have that already. Page dot go to. Okay, let me just run it one more time just to make sure I'm not. Frame 2, okay. Maybe the frame was detached. Okay, vision. Vision locator is there. Okay. Okay, I see what happened here. Okay, that's the page. Vehicle, and we did this one, but kinda, yeah, we had the same this. Okay. Vision page, which is good. Vision page right there from the locator. Okay, so this may be because okay. Why is it not working? Okay, so we'll figure that out in a minute. But let's say this is, you're satisfied with your test. Cleanup is done, as you can see. We made all these changes, right? So now let's say you're happy with it, right? So we're gonna unknowingly push these changes, which has a problem. Somebody's gonna review and tell us that this is not working, so we'll fix it, right? So at least we see some real-time back and forth in order for you to get this code to be approved, right? So now that you yourself is happy because you made the changes, all these things are good, and you say, okay, I already made these changes, I'm gonna commit it, and you stage all 3 files that you made changes to. You're gonna say added the POM at this point, page object model, for this test, and then commit and push, and you pushed it. And I'll go back to your changes. So I go back and I see that you made the changes, and you'll then come in here, right? And you're gonna say it's done. You're gonna basically say resolved conversation. That means you're saying go ahead and check one more time because I fixed it. Okay. So now I'm the manager or whatever, your coworker. I'll look at your change. Oh, okay. You send me this link. Hey, can you go and review again? Because I just sent you the code, right? And I will then go ahead and review it and be like, oh, this looks good. But then I may also run this code, right? How do I run it? Because this is your code. The only thing I have to do is copy these. Okay, copy the branch name. And so let me go back to, so let's say I'm gonna behave like your coworker, okay? So first, this is your branch. I'm gonna kick him out of the branch. So I'm gonna go back to master. So if I went back to master, notice no more, there is no new test, right? It's just the old stuff, right? So we are in a different version right now. So your coworker has this version, and now he wants to make sure that you did the right thing and it's working. So he'll look at him like, everything looks good, but I want to run it to see if it works. He'll copy this branch name and he will say, I want to switch. So he's going to go and then he's going to select a branch or whatever, right? So he's going to be able to like go ahead and paste it here. And he's going to be able to then go ahead and create a new branch out of this, right? He can say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and check this branch out. So he went back and checked it out. So now he has the same exact version of code that you have. And now he will say, okay, let me run this because I don't know if it's working properly or not, right? He's doing a review of your code. So now he's coming here and say, okay, and I'm going to run it. And it didn't work. So, but he's not the author, meaning he didn't write the test. So for him to fix the test is like, it's like stepping on your foot. He should only tell you like it's not working. That's it. Can you fix it? You are the developer of that test. So what he's going to do next is that he's going to take a screenshot just like this. And he can suggest, but he cannot touch your code, right? He cannot go and fix it for you. Then it becomes like, oh, wait a minute. Then he's like, like if you ever play soccer where one guy wants to be everywhere, just run around and do everything. So we in coding, especially if you work in a team, it has to be a teamwork, and it cannot be like one guy going back and, oh, I see you make a mistake, let me fix it. No, that's not the, you just have the guy fix it. Even if it's easy, you let them fix it. Okay, that'll be a better way. So now I'll write a comment I'll say, I'm gonna paste the thing. I'll say I was trying to run your test, but it failed. Can you please look into it? Let me know when it's fixed so I can review again. Okay, so then I will go ahead and comment. So now I see like whoever is reviewing put a screenshot, I was able to run it, blah, 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 right? Now you finally, obviously all this interaction, you're gonna get emails. Like anytime I'm writing here, it gets you to your email. So you get an email and you open it and like, oh, no way, he wasn't able to run it. Oh man, okay, let me go and fix it. So now you're gonna go back to your branch and you're gonna try to figure things out and you're gonna try to fix it. So let's see what is the problem. The first one, if I click on it, and obviously it's all about finding out what's really happening. So it says error page go to about maybe a frame was detached, right? So it says maybe we can do wait until load, right? So it's telling us navigating to, maybe we just wait for something, right? Maybe that's gonna be a better option for us. So if I'll go ahead and oh, okay, we're missing a wait. Oh Jesus, maybe that's the whole thing, because it did the work and it never waited for it. Okay, so that's the problem. Oh, look at that, it's working. So you saw the difference between putting a wait and not, right? If you don't put the wait, it will do the work, but it'll never wait for it to finish. Okay, so now that it's done, right? Obviously it typed it on the frame 1, but it's not typing on frame 2. So we have to fix that too. Otherwise, the guy who's going to review it is going to say, wait a minute, I ran it, your frame 2 is not working. Okay. So what could be the reason for frame 2 not working? I will go ahead and see what's the actually inspect this thing right here real quick and find out what is the frame 2. No. Let me open that browser somewhere actually. I don't know if I can copy. Oh, God. Okay. Okay, what is the frame 2 locator? Because the locator issue, I'm sure is the locator issue. And we assume the frame 2 is going to be frame 2, right? So, okay, so if I go up a little bit and I can see it's frame 2. Okay, source frame 2. That's the one. Frame 2. Okay, let's go back to our test real quick. Let's go to the locators. Frame _2, is that it? Just want to make sure, confirm his exact source. Frame 2 is fine. Text 1. So what is the text field? Is this one? No, my text 2. Okay, that's the one. So we have to add the text field also. So sometimes you just make assumptions and it doesn't go well. So this is the 2 and then this is 1 and that's it. So now I'm going to go to my action page and just going to go ahead and update. So this is now is 1 and this is going to be now is 2. Oh, Control Z. 2. Okay, so this fixed my test. It should actually now be fine. I'm pretty confident about it after running a few times. So let's see. You should type it on both. Okay, I did type it on both. It's just too fast. Okay, right there. You guys see it, right? Test is passing. Everything is good. So now what I will do to save his time, I'll copy this and I'll send it back to him. Like, please review it. It's all good to go now. Okay, so I'm gonna say, it's all working now. Please check again. But before I do that, I have to push my code. So somebody tell me, how do I push these changes, guys, from here? I updated all 3 files. Who can tell me now?
Click on the plus icon.
Okay, so plus icon to stage. So all 3, I can actually click and see what I did. Nice. And then I'll click this. Okay, these are the ones that I added. Okay, fine. And then what's next?
And then you commit.
You have to write a message. Updated test and added new locator, for example, right? So it's like in a short line what you did. Okay, so I'm gonna just click on commit and push at the same time, and it will be pushed also, right? So if I now go in here, you can see that it's ready to be merged. So now let's say the guy who's reviewing it, he's like coming in, checking, okay, I see that he made some updates from the last time. He can actually go to the different version of the last few times that I pushed, right? You can actually check what was the difference in the last few times, okay? So that's how, and timing also. So that's why when you push, let's say your manager want to find out what have you been doing, it's very apparent because it's going to be like, oh, you haven't pushed anything for the last 16 days. And that's very much telling that, okay, this guy is inactive, you know? The way that I'm treating you guys here, if you're inactive, you're out, you know, it's a harsh world, the company is going to do the same, right? So you see that the code was not pushed for the 16 days and your QA engineers. Obviously, that's a good way for a manager to find out who to get rid of first. Okay, so now that you have this, let's say as a reviewer, I agree. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna approve this review. So now because I created this, I am not able to approve my own thing, but suppose it's not me, I can say this looks good now, and then I'll go ahead and click on approve and submit, okay? And it's done. The next thing you as a developer, what you're gonna do, you're gonna go back to your branch. Now, let's say you joined and you went back to your branch, you're gonna say, okay, so he said it's approved, everything looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and merge this pull request, okay? I'm gonna click on merged, okay? And confirm merge. And now I can delete this branch because I don't need it anymore. This branch was created only for that task, okay? I'm gonna delete it. And I'll copy this pull request real quick. And I'm gonna go to my issue and I'll say, okay, fixed it. And now merged in master, updated. So this, my work is done, commit and close, and done. This is closed, no longer, you know, needed, right? You see the thing was added. Somebody can put some thumbs or whatever is the emoji, right? You know, and things like that. So that is done. If you go back, so what happened, if you look at the master copy, the other one is no longer there. If I look at the master copy and I can see the VG frame, whatever test is now, is added here with the new changes, okay? That's exactly how you will be pushing code daily basis for work, okay? Now, they may have a process like, okay, I want you to name it differently. I want you to follow this name, that name, whatever. Just follow that, right? But I gave you a specific standard how you name it. That's just me. Every company have their own way of naming things. So you just have to follow their things, right? But at least you get the general idea, the rules of thumb, and you should be able to you know, do this. The other thing is, if you ever feel like you don't have access locally, whatever is the case, and you want to code right here directly, there's a trick. You see .com right here? Change that to dev and then enter. And now you have VS Code here. Okay, so now you can actually just go ahead and start changing things here and then push it from here too, if you want, if you like, you know. So that's another way, like if you, for whatever reason, you don't have access, you know, maybe, you know, you can't wait to start coding and they're still waiting for you to give you access locally, whatever is the case in your case, right? You can actually still do it change the .com to .dev, and now you have access to start to, make the same changes. As you can see, no difference between your local VS Code and this VS Code. It's the same exact. You can also remote in to this if the company has the premium stuff. Anyways, so how do you guys feel about GitHub right now? Can you guys create your branch and push? Guess what the homework is gonna be? You're gonna be pushing all your code, right, to GitHub, and you're gonna create one pull request for me to review, right? And then I'll be reviewing that. But if you are able to push it, then you can only then create the pull request review. I'm gonna just go over one more time how you can do this, the GitHub thing. You guys all clear, right? You guys don't need the second time. You guys fine. Then we're not gonna waste time. Everybody
No,
needs to
one more time will be nice.
get some dinner.
No, one more time will be
Okay.
nice.
But it's just you, so I'll give you a private lesson. Nobody else needed. So we're
I
good.
need it.
I need it.
Okay. Okay. Nobody else, right? Everybody else is good. Okay. I'm just kidding, guys. So let's go back real quick. At least up until here, when you click make changes and you're able to add and then push, that's fine. But the very first thing you'll do, you go to your GitHub account, you create a GitHub account first, right? And then you're gonna create a new repository. Maybe like for you, the creating a new repository button is gonna be here somewhere because your account is gonna be completely new. I have a lot of stuff, as you can see. These are all my work. So you'll just go ahead and click on new. First, create yourself a Playwright automation, whatever the name you want to give. So I'm going to put a 1 next to it so I can create it, create the repository. And now that you have this, you will be able to push, right? So even if you follow this, you should be able to push it, because like if you put a wrong commands from here, it will tell you that, hey, you're supposed to do this one or that one. We're going to actually follow this portion of it because this portion is for somebody who's just creating a completely brand new folder, file, and all that stuff. We already have a file, folder, and all of that stuff, right? So the next thing you're going to do is that you're going to say git origin, this and that, right? So these commands. But I think, again, the easier way for you to do is probably using the UI. So now that you have this, the only thing we're going to be using, okay, again, I'm clarifying. The only thing you're going to be using is this link. So copy this link, okay? And then you're going to click on this guy. Okay, let me just start from scratch here. Okay, so I'm going to push something like maybe something that is not very much. I'm going to open another folder that doesn't have Git, okay? And then I'm going to push now. And then recent, let's see, something, project 1. I don't know, like project 1 maybe, okay. File doesn't exist, okay. All right, let me find something that I can push out there that is not private. Okay, let's see if I can. Okay, so this is my README. Okay. So I just want to push this, nothing else. Okay, this is just the README, whatever. Now, I can do it 2 ways. Like I said, we can do the commands here or we can do it there, right? So if I go back, oh, just happened. If I go back to source control, so commit graph. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to see how I can do this from here. More action. It should be an init there. Add to git. Okay. Okay. So I think you have to init regardless. You have to use this command regardless in the beginning, right? So let me go ahead and open a new terminal. Okay, so new terminal. I'm gonna. This is the only thing that we have. Okay. This is the only directory. Let me go back. Unless I'm just gonna find something that I want to push. Goodness, I don't have anything that I can push out in the wild, right? Okay, let me just get rid of that. We're gonna find something that is completely okay. New folder or new file. Like I'm gonna create a new one just for this testing. You know, push whatever. Okay, so it's gonna put it somewhere. Create a file. Okay, this is a test. Open a terminal. Okay, so if I go in here, as you can see, in order to use Git feature, you can open the folder containing Git repository or clone it from URL, right? So I'm gonna say I don't have none of these, right? So I'm gonna init. I'm basically going to say this is a Git folder. So if I click on this is a file. So I'm gonna have to create a folder first, okay? And this file has to go inside of it. So now let me just go ahead and create a new folder, test push folder, create, open, and now we have test push folder. As you can see, it's all good. Now I'm just gonna create some nonsense file. This, okay, maybe like readme.md, whatever. And I can just say something like this. This is a test push learning Git, right? For example. So we just added this. I can go back in here. This is the, you're not logged in, you're doing nothing, okay? So far, what you did is you only created this link, okay? Nothing else. And then you see these two, publish to GitHub. You can directly publish this folder to GitHub. Once published, you will have access, blah, blah, or initialize repository. We have to initialize it. This is not a Git, right? So I initialized it just now. Okay, so it says I made changes. I'm gonna click now. I have the same way to do it. So I'm gonna click on plus. Now I'm gonna create a message to say adding a test file. And I'm gonna commit and push. And now it's gonna ask me, oh, your repository has no remote. I'm gonna click on add. And it says add remote from Git. I can click on this because I already have this here added. If I click on that option, it will basically do it for me, right? So I'm gonna go again, like push, and then it'll say add remote from GitHub. And now you see automation 1, it's showing up right here. Or I can just copy that link and paste it here. Either way is gonna be fine. Provide the name. You can say master or main, choose whatever you want. So I can say master, and it's ready to go. Now I can say publish my branch. You don't have okay, would you like to create a fork push instead? No, I want to do fork push instead. So now I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna change which user this one is belong to. I think that's my problem, not yours. So you shouldn't see this again. So I'm gonna go ahead and
I have a
make
question.
that change. Yeah.
I never get options for publish branch. I only get commit and push. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, commit and push, and then what happens?
And it just goes to commit. That's it.
Okay. All right. Let's do one thing real quick. Who is comfortable enough to share their screen? And we're gonna do this for one of you because my computer is again, it's
Yeah, I
probably
can.
not giving you guys the exact stuff
I can share my
that you
screen.
guys need. Okay. So let's do for one of you guys. Okay, you can start by sharing a screen. We're gonna tell you, everybody's gonna tell you what to do. And let's see.
Mhm. Can you see my screen?
Okay, so the very first thing, you have a GitHub account. Right.
I'm not sure. I created long time ago.
Okay, so go and log in to GitHub.
It's here. So maybe it
I
will
don't
be,
I don't see your browser. Okay, anybody has a GitHub account and they know the password that we can try, because we only have 5 to 10 minutes to go over. I don't want to be helping you creating an account.
I can share I already pushed it to Git though, but I can share.
Yeah, that's not gonna help anybody.
Okay.
Let's find somebody fresh who doesn't have any, but they have a GitHub account. Even if you don't have it, but you're okay, Lahul, why don't you share your screen? If you can, because I know you might
Yeah.
be
Yeah, I have it.
at work.
Account.
Okay.
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 Let me share my screen. Okay, so this is my GitHub account, right?
Okay, so I see that you're logged in. Let's create a new
Mhm.
repository. That's the first thing. So he's already logged in. We're going to create a new repository. Go ahead and click that. And now type in like whatever name, like automation, whatever, Playwright automation. No, that's the branch name. That's very like, automation means anything, right? What tool you're using?
Which one? VS Code.
No, you're naming a folder that contains automation tasks, correct?
Okay.
I'm just helping you with the name. That name doesn't say very much about what you did the last, few classes. Maybe camel casing would help, right? Because you got the you got a spelling, you got double A right there. A should be capital, right? T should be lowercase. You're doing camel casing.
That's
All
right,
right.
right?
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you heard me. Make the P
Yeah.
lowercase. Okay, now go ahead and create. We're not gonna check any other check marks because we already have it's a working repository. So now you have your remote, right? This is your remote, which means the link
This
is
one,
gonna
right?
be a remote. Yeah, this is your remote location for the for your code. Right now, this remote location is empty, so we're gonna fill it with the code that we already have. So you're gonna copy that and go back to your VS Code. Okay. All right, click on the second icon on the left side. Okay, you don't even have GitHub, so if you'd like to please enable GitHub, okay, blah, blah, click on settings. And then you just have to enable it. Okay. Click on the extension. Is it enabled? Whether Git is enabled?
I think I do have enabled, but I don't see where's that.
Git feature enabled and you
Okay.
have to learn more. Yeah, but that's not, you're going all over the place. That's not gonna help. Just click
I
on
disabled
the,
recently. So I disabled recently the GitHub. So there is
okay, click
a
on setting. Okay, click on
right there.
extension. Maybe that's where the, not there, not there. You gotta, okay, go back to, can you click on the second icon on the thing? And no,
Search.
the other one, no, the other one, this one, yeah. Click on settings. Okay, now you see it says whether Git is enabled. Okay, click on, open the extension on the left side, right there. No, not there. It's the word extension right there under the user.
This one.
That's not extension. That's also not extension. There is a word called extension with a number 1 on it under the user.
Is
In the
another
middle. In the middle. Middle of your screen.
Right under the user.
Yeah, there we go. Click on that. Okay, so Git is enabled right now. Modified in workspace. Okay, what did you do, man? I don't understand. Like everybody's okay, there you go. Now it's enabled. Okay,
Yeah, because I
so
disabled it.
okay, so you enabled it. Looks like you already have committed. So let's go ahead and click on publish branch because all these changes. Okay, let's see if these changes were staged. They're not staged yet. Okay, so click on the
No.
changes. Like go your cursor down a little bit. Move your cursor down to the changes. Okay, click on plus. Okay, good. On the message up, write what you did. Write what changes you're pushing. On the message, there is a text field message. You don't see. I mean, you didn't see me writing message for commit all this time. I did
Yeah.
it like 3-4 times. Okay, so type it. Type the message for your.
Okay, so
I don't know if
should I?
you're.
Type it on the
It's like
I don't know
bottom.
if
search
you
bar on top
are
of
you
comment.
listening to me though? Because I don't know. I don't know if you can hear me
Yeah,
because
I
you're
can
doing
listen.
something.
No,
Okay.
I'm listening to
I'm
you.
saying
Yeah.
write a message on the
Oh,
text
just
field.
write it.
Where is the text field? Why are you clicking
So
up
when
a
I
mess?
click the plus icon, it should open a new file here, or
No. You gotta listen first, right? Before you move your mouse. Okay, now you write it right there. Okay, good. Because you're all over the place. By the way, guys, the reason why I am kind of like telling him this way is because let's say you're with your coworker and he's trying to help you and you're all over the place and you're kind of like, not listening to the instruction, he's gonna get frustrated and leave. So you don't want to be in that situation. So just do a step-by-step process, right? You are just there. Just go and type what changes you're doing. In this case, you're pushing the entire test folder, right? Like all of your tests.
Mhm.
So write a message that is meaningful in terms of the changes that you made. Okay, that's fine. Now click on the drop down. Don't click on it. Yeah, right there, and commit and push. Okay, make sure user. So you see now, most of you guys will face this problem. You now have to cancel it. Let's add those. Okay. So now at the bottom, okay. I think you tried halfway and then it didn't work for you and you disabled your Git. So now what you need to do next is that you need to add, I don't know if I gave you the link, but anyways, this is the command git config
Get what?
config. Okay, space dash dash. All right, global
Space global or together?
dash dash global. Okay, and then space user dot name. Okay, space, and then put double quote and put your username from GitHub. Okay, go ahead and enter. Okay, let's go ahead and enter the email now. Git config, all of that same name becomes email, and enter the email address.
So email dot address should be.
No, user dot email, the same
Oh,
paradigm.
user dot email or.
And then go ahead and enter the email address. good. Go ahead and enter from there. Okay, that's good. Click on commit and push again. This time it's gonna ask you password up there. And let's see. Okay, add remote. Click on the add remote on the bottom. Okay, this is where you want to add remote from GitHub. Click that option right there. Yeah. Okay, allow, sign in, and then it will ask you, okay, click on authorize. So it's automatically will sign in. You don't have to create that code that I did. So click on that, use your password.
Oh, let me see if it's the password work.
Okay, that's gonna be your luck. I'm gonna leave you at this if this doesn't work. But why don't you just click on forget password? Okay, good, submit.
Let me reset the password.
Okay. If there was anybody with a good GitHub account, by now we would be all done with the, because this is, I don't think this will also help most of you guys, because he already finished half of the steps in the beginning. He initialized to Git. I guess like, okay, the only thing that you would have to keep in mind when you follow these steps, the initialization, which was the button that I showed you guys on my side, is going to be same. Everything else will be similar after that. But
Okay, so I changed my password right now, so it's asking for
So can you-
username again. So should
but
I?
you have to log in, right? I mean, you changed it, but you didn't log in, did you? Okay. All right, look for that code and put it in there. Okay, now go back to the VS Code, because now we have to authenticate VS Code. Okay, it's trying to log in to your, you can cancel it for now. Like, go ahead and cancel it. No, press no. Okay, go ahead and close the VS Code and reopen, because it's looking for timeout at this moment, because okay, go ahead and reopen, click on your GitHub plugin after selecting your, not there. On the right side, you see recenter, right? No, cancel
Do I have
that.
to open my folder first?
Yeah, but it was already in recent for you, but okay. Do you see recent or you don't see recent on your screen?
No, I don't
Really?
see recent. Where is that?
Everybody here see recent, right? On the middle of your screen, what do you read? Can you read it for me? What other options do you have? Because you're moving fast without listening. That's the problem. You see like on the middle of your screen.
Yeah, this one, right? Okay, this
one.
one.
Okay. Click on the first link right there. Yeah, that's it. That's all you have to do. Okay. So now click on publish branch, because you already did the other work, right? Click on publish. Okay, so GitHub Copilot, click on allow. This one, sign in. And now click on authorize. And then click on open. Okay, so this is gonna log you in now. Okay, publish to GitHub, private, public, because you don't have private. Click that. Okay, it's publishing. Successfully published Playwright. Okay, so now click on open on GitHub. Just the link right there, the first option. Oh, okay. You don't listen, do you? If you go back to your VS Code, you'll see that there is a link that you can just click on it and open. The very first one. Just read successfully. Okay, just click on that. Yeah. That's it. So you pushed your stuff right here. So now that you pushed here, you can actually now regularly pull and push. You can probably create a pull request when you have new tests and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so anybody else going through this, I guess what I will probably do, just send you a document in terms of the steps to follow to push your code and then create a pull request. And then we also learn iframe. The next class will learn how to deal with array. This is something that we missed. We'll cover array in the next class. You guys have any other questions before we done for the day?
So if I change something first, I have to pull it.
So if you, let's say, think about it this way, you're working with 5 developers, for example, and you're one of them. Everybody's actively working, and let's say you got an assignment and you want to make changes to the same exact folder, you have to first make sure that you're pulling the latest, right? Because it could be somebody else updating and changing, pushing their changes. So that's when we're going to do pull. And then once you're ready to send your code, you'll do push. So before you even start working, you'll have to pull. Okay, so I will send you the homework. Maybe I'll give you guys the steps to follow in writing rather than video, because this video has been pretty problematic from the beginning. So it's going to be hard to follow that, but we'll go ahead and send you the details in writing. And the next class should be the homework is basically pushing your code and creating a pull request, one pull request at least. The other thing is, I'm going to bring up nothing wrong with following what ChatGPT gives you. So tell me how to push my existing repo to Git and create a new PR, for example, right? So okay, so the first is git init, git add, git commit.
We don't see your screen.
Oh, okay, let me share my screen. I thought I was sharing, okay. 1 second. Okay, so what I was trying to say is this, right? This is what ChatGPT is telling you in terms of pushing your branch, right? So now I'm gonna tell ChatGPT that this is all good, but I want to do it through VS Code. Can you show me how to do it via VS Code, including login to Git, right? So that's another. And you guys can actually easily ask the same exact question in order for you to get the same instruction. So you see what it does, it's asking you, so some of you guys may need to install Git if you don't have it. Okay, so that's when you're gonna have to follow these steps. Once you have the Git, the next thing is you have to log in. So as you can see, username and password, that's what we just did. After that, in the VS Code, once you're ready with your file, you're gonna follow these steps basically right here. So if you got video and you got the ChatGPT to figure out 2 things, very small homework, pushing your existing code and creating a pull request. That's all. It's gonna be the homework for next class. With that said, I'll see you guys next time, and hopefully, again, we're gonna go more and more deeper. Like I said, today we just touched base with the iframe. We haven't even touched the browser context, which means how can you deal with a application that has multiple, pop-ups or something, right? It's built-in pop-up or something. So that's another. You also need to think about session, like let's say cookies and stuff. You want to delete cookies, you want to update cookies. How do you do that? Also, we have downloads files and upload files. How can you download a file from the application through Playwright? And how can you upload a file from Playwright? These are going to be very, very important because the chances of you doing this at work is going to be very high. We also going to cover some other stuff like routes. We're going to cover the request. By the way, request is for API testing. So that's going to be like 3 or 4 weeks just on this spent because you will be doing UI and API both testing type. So you're going to learn how to do API testing as well part of this class. Okay, with that said, I'll see you guys on Thursday. I know this is probably one of the class with many uncertainties, but when you're dealing with commands on GitHub, depending on your computer, you'll face the similar issues setting it up. Even at work, you may have the similar issues, and that doesn't mean it's always going to be easy. I wish that it was all straightforward, but it's going to be you discovering, maybe getting help from ChatGPT to make sure that you are able to push and pull code. Alrighty, I will see you guys on Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.